So how's everyone doing today? All right, so usually when I present to students, I don't like to just have a whole lot of me doing all the talking. I like for people to ask questions, because I used to sit in this same seat at USC. As a matter of fact, I graduated from what used to be applied professions, and then it was training and HR support, TSTM, and then now it's integrated technology, right?
Yeah.
And so I graduated from this program. Uh, I'm not gonna say when because that would date me, but I'm really excited to be here. I'm a proud graduate of the University of South Carolina, go Gamecocks. And I want to just share with you my journey from a technology standpoint, but also from a human resources standpoint. So before we get started, I'd like to know if anybody has any questions. All right. And for all folks on the back row, used to like to sit in the back too. So I like calling on people in the back of the room. All right. So my name is Sharmiqua Franklin. I am a little country girl from the low country of South Carolina. Anyone in here from South Carolina? Oh, okay. Anybody from the low country? People in the room. And what part of the low country? Buford. I'm from Tennessee.
I'm from 95.
95 and 26 cross. So that's Bowman. Okay. Cool. My college roommate was from St. George. Andrina Addison was her name. I think she called it high school. When we were college roommates. So I went to the University of South Carolina, got a bachelor's degree, and I graduated, I am going to date myself, in 1999. So who can tell me what was going on in 1999?
Y2K.
Thank you. Y2K was happening. So it was a really good way to find a job because everybody thought that the world was coming to an end in 2000. So the clock set and nothing happened. Literally nothing. But at the time, I was an intern. So from this program, you had a requirement to have an intern, and I was an intern at USC. So I interned at the I don't even know what they're called now, but I was interning at the technology department here at the university. And
DOI.
DOIT, very cool.
Department of
Okay. So I used to ride around on the golf carts, helping professors, instructors fix their computers. And then move-in time, we would actually go around and help students move into their dorms, help them get on the Wi-Fi. And at the time, some people had modems and some people had Wi-Fi. So it was really. But I went from there and then I decided, okay, I got to find a job. And at the time, I was like, okay, it's easy to find a job. Well, actually, it wasn't. Because at that time, everybody who graduated from a technology degree was also looking for something. And during that time, there was not an easy way to apply for a job. Usually during that point in time, people were looking for sophisticated ways to apply for jobs. So imagine sending your resume in the mail to 20 different companies. Y'all wouldn't even imagine doing that right now. You've got QR codes, you can text someone, you can go on LinkedIn. There's all types of technology that you can use now, but during that time, you couldn't do that. I went to go work for the South Carolina Judicial Department as a help desk agent. And at that time, help desk was considered training, tech support, project management. It was all of those things. Went to Agfirst. That was my first job in 2000, well, second job in 2001. And I was excited. During that time, they said, we have a need for training. So the evolution of technology started integrating into the business in different ways, in ways that people really did not know that technology could integrate. So as you think about what you do today with LinkedIn and email and those kinds of things, some of that wasn't readily available for us. Tony's probably laughing because he knows it was really hard to actually do that and actually get feedback from your resume because somebody had to physically call you. So I peeked earlier when he said, we're gonna do resumes. We're gonna help you with your cover letter. At that time, we used to have this thing at USC called a resume writer. And you would buy this CD. Does anybody even know what a CD is anymore? Okay, you would buy this CD and you would go to the career center and they would help you put your resume together. So just to give you some insight onto how easy it is for you to actually get a job now than it was back then. All right. Then my journey started evolving into IT, like specifically IT. And then it was a need to actually move from IT training to more of a what I consider to be personable training. There was a need to have someone to actually help people come and get integrated into the organization. So that's where my career started to evolve. Now I'm in a role where I actually help other folks lead, support, and strategize on ways to help people like you come into the organization and feel a part of the organization. So does that give you some sort of insight into how what you're doing today can transcend into so many different areas? So give me an example of jobs that you're looking for today. I know this is not a quiet group. So tell me some jobs that you're interested in today.
Job title.
Job titles, job fields. IT technician. All right. We have those at that first. I'm sorry. Oh, shoot. Cyber, yes, that's a big thing today. Anybody else?
Data analyst.
We just hired for one of those. Data analyst. Yes.
Network admin.
Sorry.
Network admin.
Yes. Is that still a class in this?
Yeah. We got 2 classes.
Okay.
Really anything
Okay. Has anybody ever thought about technology as it relates to HR? They're like, oh. All right. So our core focus in HR is to drive people to people first change, culture, equity, engagement, executive coaching, HR compliance. What I want to do is I want to get to what that looks like on the technology side. My job right now is to take HR and integrate it into the business. And the way I do that is to be a trusted advisor to my peers, CEO, CFO, CEO, Chief Financial Officer, lead people-driven transformation, align HR with business outcomes, and then enable us to be risk aware to grow. So what I really want to get to is technology, because I didn't hear anyone in the room say anything about technology as it relates to HR, which kind of saddens me a little bit because there's so much technology in HR that people don't really think about. So let's talk about digital transformation. Earlier, I talked about my resume and how I had to send my resume either through snail mail, email. There was nothing called an applicant tracking system in 1999 and 2000. So now when you go out to LinkedIn and you upload your resume as a PDF, actually, we didn't even have PDF versions of resumes at that time. So now you can upload your resume into LinkedIn, which technically is a big fat database. Follow it. Now you have ways where you can actually, when we pay people, we're not giving them physical checks anymore. Maybe the first paycheck. But after the first paycheck, we're not giving you a digital check, a paper check anymore. We're giving you a digital check. Still someone behind the scenes from a data analyst standpoint, from a cybersecurity standpoint, all of that has to be integrated into human resources to be able to take people through direct deposit. Data-driven decisions. So when you think about being a data analyst, there's some, from an HR standpoint, we now use data to help us make decisions. So for example, Olivia's team, if we get 1,000 applicants for a job, well, there's some data in there that can tell us a story about that particular role. There's probably a lot of people in the market looking for that type of work. So when we get ready to host that job, we need to be thinking about the caliber of talent that we have. So your resume matters. So when he's telling you, get your resume right, he's really being honest, because you don't have somebody physically looking at your resume anymore. What happens is your resume goes into a pool and it pulls trigger words. Like if you want to be a data analyst, they're going to be looking for somebody who has analytical skills. So you need to have words on your resume like analytics, data analytics, because they probably don't even know anything about data mining. But in the past, we used to call it data mining, but now that information is now being housed into these applicant tracking systems, and it's pulling words from your resume to rise you to the top of the candidate. So that's why it's important not to have a ton of graphics on your resume. It's important to have no misspelled words on your resume, because those resumes can get knocked out if you have too many typos in your resume. So normally when people think about HR, they don't think about those types of things as it relates to technology. The other thing I want to talk about is just from a compliance and risk standpoint. So now HR professionals are having to get really sophisticated with compliance, because all the different state laws and different federal regulations that are coming out that scrutinize human resources in a much different way than it did in the past. So now compliance and risk, technology, data privacy, those things are now even more critical in the workplace than they have been before. Questions? All right, so when I think about looking ahead in HR and what I am looking for as a CHRO for new people that are coming in, but also when I think about how can I lead Agfirst HR into the future. The way I do that is people first and a tech-enabled HR. And Olivia can tell you that I am constantly driving them on process improvement, making things better, cheaper, faster. And the way you do that is with technology. So I encourage my team to get educated. Getting a degree is not enough anymore. Certifications, classes, ongoing classes. When you get into the workforce, you want to be a lifelong learner. I think about the people that I graduated from college with that were just COBOL programmers. One, it's hard to find a COBOL programmer right now, but two, the technology is outdated. So when you think about going in to be a developer, you can't just get honed in on that one thing and then think that you don't have to learn anything else after that, because technology is rapidly changing. So that's why I love this program so much, because it brings a human-centered purpose to technology as it relates to any other program at USC. And I'm sorry, I'm biased too. But when I think about all the people I graduated with, we have anywhere from HR directors to recruiters to Scrum Masters, to data analysts, to chief risk officers. Like there's a mountain hill of things that this program can offer you that most programs in just a traditional technology shop cannot offer. Shameless plug for this program, but that I truly and wholeheartedly believe that because I've seen the proof in the pudding. The next thing I want to do is make sure that our workforce is ready for what's to come. So because I have lived in a constant change in technology from the time in which I graduated from USC to today, I'm constantly focusing on making sure that our staff in the bank are future ready. Because the change is happening so rapidly and so constant, we can't just learn Broadbean, which is another technology tool in the recruiting space. We've got to learn Broadbean, but then we've got to learn other technology platforms so that we're future ready. The next thing is just around strategy and using data to make decisions so that I can help them be future ready, a future ready workforce, but also being able to be a tech enabled HR. Right. So now I open the floor for discussion. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you want to know. I want to hear maybe you have career aspirations and you want to know how to get there. I want to know if there's any questions that you feel like we can help you. And then also, if you're interested in an internship program, what does that look like for you?
I've heard a lot of things about Agfirst. Actually, something that I was speaking with for the first time. I've had relationships with Agfirst at some point. I would love to know more about your company culture, because once I've heard from other people, it's been fantastic. I mean, like, there's pretty much like if you have any personal problem, that Agfirst will do in its best ability to help you in that way. And I just wanted to see if that reflected in your statement as well.
Yes, it does. So we have a couple of things that are very culture focused. One, we have a strategy right now that's about winning. Winning for our customers, winning for our staff, and also winning for the people who we support. So Agfirst is it's a service provider as well as a bank. And part of that service is technology, payroll benefits, those kind of things. But from a culture standpoint, we have EAP, which is the Employee Assistance Program. We have a dedicated HR employee relations person on site. So when people have problems or they have a need or they have something that they just want to bounce off of HR, we have someone in-house that handles that. We're all about winning.
Only great things about Agfirst, so
That's
wanted to make sure it's reflected.
we need to get you on video for our CEOs. Anybody else?
Well, I guess like what are some of the things that the interns like actually do? I know you said that I guess if you're doing like remote stuff or like a hybrid schedule, so I wonder like what would they be doing on days of time in the office? Like what would they look at all?
So in HR, we have a lot of service delivery type projects that we're working on. So there's some task work that can be done on Mondays and Fridays, but on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, most of those teams who have interns, they have physical projects that they work on while they're in the office. Other questions?
For like the internship, I guess like if you get assigned to a certain department, they're moving to swing departments or do you get rotated, or once you like inside the department, you like lock in?
Most of the time, when you apply for an internship position, you're applying for that department. Now, we have had times where we've shared people. So like HR might share someone with a technology type intern because of the kind of work that we do. But we try to predetermine that before the intern shows up so that they don't feel like they're being bounced around with, 3 different managers. So we try to make it a seamless process. But specifically what we want to do is pair the intern with a job that they actually want to be in. So when you go out to our site and you see the intern postings, you'll see credit, HR, data security. You'll see all these different types of interns because we want to hone in on what we really think the intern wants to be. Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay. Other question? Yes, sir.
So internship, like that's good, but everything like hands-on, get involved, like might have some technical skills that you might maybe use that. It's not knowledge.
There's a combination, honestly. We try to have a well-rounded internship program, so you might be on farm, do a farm visit, because we gotta connect with the customers that we serve. You may be in a project meeting with CEO, talking about the project that you're working on. You may be working with a technology group on a new innovative thing that we might have coming out for our customers outside in the field. So it's a combination of things. It's not just that one thing. So to your point, you could be doing at your desk, but you could also be in a collaboration room working with other interns and other like we're doing initiatives.
Who can tell me what Agfirst is? You knew that they were coming, so I mean, what is Agfirst? What do they do?
To my knowledge, they, help out farmers by loaning money to farms in order to build whatever they might need, whether it's crops or animals. They just help the financial backing of those farmers, make sure they're well prepared for whatever they need.
I like to call it, we think you rule America. So, we lend money to farmers for their operating expense. And that could be for a tractor, that could be for land, that could be for a new home in a rural area. That could be, it could be a large company that needs funding for certain aspects of their operation. So it's a number of those things.
And do you think that's a small industry or a big industry? For ag?
I think it'd be pretty small, but like in the farming industry, I feel like there has to be two rivaling companies.
It's $1 billion industry, big time, and they're one of the biggest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's why they don't even put their name on the building, it's like, they have a lot. Like, don't come to us.
So where our asset size is about 48 billion dollars. That's what our asset size. There are 4 district banks. There's CoBank, there is Agribank, Farm Credit Bank of Texas, and Agfirst. And we have, Farm Credit has we call them associations, but they're the direct link to the customer. And we have about, I'm trying to think the last time I checked, but we cover every state in the US, including Puerto Rico. So if somebody wants to get a loan from Farm Credit, they can pretty much go to any local office in their footprint to get a loan.
But they're like, the way I envision, it, you tell me, they're like the lending institution, they're the mothership.
Yeah.
And all the others are just out there in the field, but sometimes the mothership goes out and says, let's go to a farm and make sure that this is happening.
Yeah, that is correct.
Also, I have another question about travel. Once again, when I was talking to people in the company, they talked a lot about travel, especially as you go up in position. They were like, you will travel a lot. Once again, they said, I mean, as you go up in position. I wondered how the company pays for that and what that usually looked like, even the trip itself. Like, what are you trying to accomplish with that trip?
So there's a couple of different ways we travel. One, it could be to some of like what Tony was talking about, these offices that we support. So we might go to those offices and say, hey, can you tell me what you need to help run your operation better? So that's one way to travel. Two, it could be for like board meetings, like for myself, I travel to a board meeting at least every other month. And we meet all of our board members in a particular spot and we work with them to better the organization. The way we pay for that is budget. So we have controllable expenses where we say, all right, in September, we budget for what we're gonna do for the next year. And our year runs from January to December. And what we do is we try to forecast how many trips we're gonna take, what our focus areas are, and then we budget to be able to afford to take those trips. But we don't go gangbusters, like go to China or Italy or anything like that. It's usually local in our district, because our district goes from Ohio all the way to Florida and Puerto Rico. And so it just depends on the job and what that job entails and how much you would travel. Good question.
And do they need to know farming?
I did not grow up on a farm. I grew up in rural South Carolina in Yemisi. Somebody said they were from Beaufort. Who was from Beaufort? Oh, my intro guy, the Mickey Mouse. At first, when I first saw you, I thought you had Mickey Mouse ears on, but my friend does that also. And then my friend back in the room from St. George, I grew up in rural South Carolina. No experience in ag. But as you get into the organization, you start to care about it because it's the thing that feeds us. It's the thing that clothes us. You know, a farmer is the person who you're going to get your cotton from, that's going to be able to make what you wear. It's going to be the thing that maybe you wash your hair with, as people get sustainable products that they use to put into chemicals and things like that. So farm credit is a huge industry, and a lot of people sleep on farm credit because they just assume, oh, that they finance a tractor, but it's bigger than that. Yes, sir.
On that question, what do you think your turnover rate for your internships are for going full time?
That's a Olivia question.
So I know we looked at it a couple of months ago. This was in July. We had converted 8 students. Some of those individuals had graduated, gone on to other experiences than we came. But for 2025, we that turn was posted. So possibilities of that.
You have a question?
That was my question. I was just gonna ask them.
Yeah. Our goal is to always try to bring interns in that want to work for us. So sometimes we might get an intern that says, I want to be an NBA player. Well, chances of me working full time at Agfirst as an NBA player is slim to 0. But you might have someone that comes in and says, I want to be a data analyst. I want to be a database administrator. I would love for somebody to say they want to be a trainer, but I want to be a trainer, you know, those kinds of things. That's a better push to our business model and what we do.
Sorry, say 18%.
18, yeah, 18, at 18. That changed their time from employees.
So I think we had 30 interns this year, 36. Yep. So that's over half. Over 50. Be looking for it. Other questions?
How many IT people are you hiring this year?
Ooh.
And how soon can they apply?
How many IT interns do we have?
So typically, most of the roles are centered in the technology space. I would say we have about 30 to 40 every summer. And probably 25 adults. And then in addition to the work you're performing, we have a full-fledged internship program, like Sherman mentioned, we do farm tours, do professional development for the intern, those exercises. We'll do a capstone project where you're paired with, 4 or 5 other interns, and you get some to the EC from what you can do. So it's great exposure and wisdom.
So now, from the beginning of class to the end of class, you guys were saying, well, who's tagged first? You weren't shaking the hand, this and that, and now they have 25 opportunities in IT with a vice president that graduated from this program. And they're in here to recruit you. And you're sort of like, hey, should I ask one question? Should I avoid? You see what I'm saying? So each time guest speakers come in, you got to be excited about the networking thing. Unless you've done your research, and you say, hey, that's just not me, but you can't just go by the title of Agfirst because you don't know what they're bringing to the table. And that's why I'm trying to bring all these different sectors in, let you guys see that, whether they're a trucking company or whatever, they all have IT.
Everybody uses technology. Technology and HR, everybody uses technology and HR, everybody.
Are you familiar with Oracle? Okay, so that is the platform that we utilize for our human capital. And we use Google on the front with our work.
A lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Any other questions? There's still an internship requirement to graduate from the program, right?
And y'all need the job. How many actually landed an internship program? And so how many searching then? Yeah.
How many went to agfirst.com/career?
They all need a position. How soon can they apply now?
Yeah, I do.
And what's your hiring process? You wanna get this solidified by January, February?
We're hoping, mid-February to early March, we'll have all the elections.
You'll be done. But you want their resumes today, right? So you can start them. So we just went through the resume revision. You fix that and you put those in. And be ready for them. And the cover letter, our first draft, which homework is due for second draft next week, but again, you could hone it around Agfirst.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for allowing us.